Hello, everyone. You could hear us before you could see us because in the background is something very exciting, and I'm going to switch to it right away. We're here to talk about Roll20 Esports, taking a quick detour from our tabletop love to talk about our esports love. So I will switch over right now, and you all can watch this fun while we talk.
Yeah, watch Roll20, Team Roll20 crushing currently in their
Right.
match against Gale Force Esports.
This is awesome. So, we are obviously here for Roll20CON, the celebration of all things tabletop via Roll20. But right now, what we're doing is taking a look at esports. So, this particular team that you're watching, if you'll notice, has the name Roll20 Esports. That is because Roll20 actually acquired an esports team this year. We picked them up, but right after they qualified for the mid-season brawl. This is Here's the Storm that you're watching in case you are not familiar, and we'll talk a little bit about what that is in a minute. But just to give you a background on what we are watching, we picked up Roll20 Esports, formerly Team 8, and right now what they're doing is actually battling it out to determine the rankings in North America. So this is what's called league play. It happens in between the big tournaments, basically. So they just finished up at the mid-season brawl in Sweden. Where they actually played Gale Force Esports, the team they're playing now, and beat them. So, and they're doing that right now, which is awesome.
Yeah.
So
It's looking kind of bad for Gale Force at the moment. But
like that.
They knew we would be watching.
Yeah.
yeah.
For those of you who are in the chat, stick around. There is more roleplay coming up after this, so don't lose us. We just wanted to give you a little bit of insight on this team. So as we watch along with this, I'll give you a little bit of background about why we chose esports. And did they just win?
No,
Oh
just
no,
doing a quick
it's just a
replay.
quick.
There
I
was-
see.
there
I
was a
saw the
big-
screens change. I got excited.
Yeah, but this is always the part that before you go into that, what
Yeah,
I love.
please.
This is the one map I really love where just like the angel and demon fight, trying to get your champion to go against the other side's lane for you, which is
This-
happening right
This
now.
definitely looks Diablo themed. Is that?
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's
this is Diablo themed level.
Yeah,
So
I
it's
think that's the
more-
thing I really liked about this game is that it does incorporate all of the Blizzard IP. And I'm actually a huge Diablo fan, so this is a fun one for us to watch.
Mhm.
We the co-founders of Roll20 are definitely inherently responsible for this acquisition in terms of their love and commitment for esports. But our whole staff is actually huge fans of esports. So I wanted to read the quote from Nolan because I think he kind of said it best in summing up why we chose to go this route, and that is Blizzard has an amazing professional league set up for Heroes of the Storm, which you're obviously witnessing right now, complete with high-level broadcasts. Our girl Gillyweed is obviously on right now, and we love Gilly. Pulse-pounding competitions and a passionate, welcoming community, and that's the one that I wanted to obviously focus on because I've been to a couple of these Heroes tournaments live, and it is an incredibly passionate and welcoming community. And I know Nolan has attended them too, and has reported back the exact same thing. And so it just made sense for us to get on board with another community that we felt represented what we did.
Mhm.
And so it's been a lot of fun watching this team and kind of learning its camaraderie around the office, so to speak.
Yeah.
We have a bot
Yeah.
in our chat, which is there's a blog on our blog, a little Slack bot that yells at us if we talk about HOTS too much. Tells us to get back to work. Actually, I think it's encouraging now. I think we changed it to like a more. It used to be getting mad because this was pre Roll20 Esports.
Yeah, I like that there are so many similarities between esports and tabletop game world, at least from our perspective from Roll20. And I love Nolan's and your talk of just empowering communities, because I've always felt the same way too. I kind of grew up in the StarCraft scene where just there was this 24/7 LAN center near where I lived, right in Fort Lee, next to the George Washington Bridge, and it was 2 floors of just these terribly crappy computers just networked together.
That's
and
awesome.
just like, yeah, just like tons of kids just playing
Yeah.
StarCraft, and it
StarCraft, I think,
was,
is like the parent of it all, it feels like, for sure. So,
in a lot of
Yeah, a
ways,
lot of
yeah.
fun.
hmm
And it was just such like a cool place to hang out, and like one of the few places you can go and people just talk to you as strangers as well.
yeah.
And also then, yeah, going to different competitions and the BlizzCon competitions and when
Oh,
Comic Con has the competitions,
yeah.
and just like how nice and welcoming and social that people are willing to be in these scenes. Yeah,
Blizzard
it's
is you can point to that company as being a very responsible part of that. Just having worked with them in the past, I know what they expect out of their community and out of themselves. And so it's great to see the reflection in not only the leagues that are getting created out of what Blizzard is doing, but also in the teams. That was something that actually Team 8, the reason that we picked them is that we saw this team that was sitting around waiting for a sponsor, waiting for the right sponsor specifically, and they had some roster changes, and inevitably, weren't expected, whatever, but inevitably through their own tenacity and perseverance, they stuck it out, qualified, obviously found us or we found them. I'm not sure exactly how that worked. I think it was Kismet, maybe. Um, so it's definitely. I think there's a lot of really cool people at work in these different environments, and so for us, it's really neat to be able to step in and say, okay, we really like what they're doing here. Now we get to give back as well.
yeah, and not to toot Roll20's own horn, if we had like a little toot.
Yeah, I
Do we
like
have a
that.
Roll20 horn
No,
somewhere in the
we
company?
should.
I'll have Steve make it.
Yeah, right.
Um,
Steve can make it.
but your comment on how Blizzard's been a great organizer of having such a good community around this. I feel similarly about Roll20 in the tabletop realm, because I think I think these kinds of games share a similar issue as well, in the sense of uh, attracting new players who might be intimidated by these types
Sure.
of games. Like, I know both in my tabletop gaming career, the amount of times I've heard like, oh, tabletop games just sound too complicated. It's just so many rules. I don't want to, like, I don't know how to get into it, like, and having to physically show them of like, no, this is very easy, and here's an easy way we can get you involved, and look, it's just fun, and if you need help, there's people to help you. And in the same way with Blizzard, especially with Heroes of the Storm, MOBAs are kind of intimidating to get into. There's just so much to learn, and to play at any kind of even amateur competitive level, like, or just amateur level with friends, and
Yeah.
be kind of competent. That's like a 6-month investment a lot of times, the way you
I
look at it.
competed in a Hearthstone tournament once. It was
Oh,
awesome.
cool. But with
I did
Blizzard,
not
like,
spend 6 months training.
but with like
Send.
Blizzard having a game like this that brings in all different of their own IPs, that kind of brings people things they're familiar with already into skills they're familiar with. They're kind of giving you an extra way in, one less barrier of entry. So I see a lot of like the same struggles in both of the tabletop and MOBA industries, and how we're addressing those in equally but separate ways.
Yeah, I definitely, I'm not a huge MOBA player. Anybody that knows me will know that. But the one MOBA I've played the most of is HOTS, precisely because of that accessibility feature. And I think Blizzard does that with
Oh wait, I think we just
most,
won.
if not all of their IPs.
I think we just
Mhm.
won. Yay! We just won.
All right.
I was like, I hear people getting excited.
So do they play like best out of 3?
I
for these
believe so. Let
matches,
me
or is it
look.
one-off?
This is a best of 5 right
is
now.
it a best
I
of
think.
5?
Best of
Okay.
5, wow.
I had a schedule open here.
Yeah. So Nadja, what's your Blizzard tying point for you?
Definitely World of Warcraft. I played that for over a decade.
Yeah. Are you okay about that now? Do you want to talk? Can you get it out?
I'm doing Final Fantasy 14 now.
Okay.
Oh yeah.
Found a new day.
Yeah, I had a long standing relationship with Hearthstone when it came out, and then
Yeah.
I'm a new Blizzard fan. I fell in love with them when I got stumbled into gaming in 2012, and so and then I found Diablo, and I was like, oh, I can do all the things everyone else loves to do, but by myself.
Mm-hmm.
It's very compelling.
And that, yeah. So that's what I wanted. I like that a lot. It's so fun
Yeah.
to see our logo on that screen right now. Let's talk about that for and there's
Yeah, it
14,000
actually
people watching that logo right now.
it kind of freaks me out even watching the live streams of this where they keep saying like roll 20 blah, blah, and it's like wait what.
What, yeah,
Like,
what's happening?
oh
Yeah.
them, not like okay.
Is this eventually this is actually on esports, right? This stuff. So, or I'm sorry, on ESPN, I think. The finals for this,
Oh,
I believe.
I am not aware of that.
I'm pretty sure because I remember that in the past happening, and I'm just thinking like, oh gosh, that's
Yeah.
I could show my dad like this. Like, hey dad, look it's a sports team.
It's amazing how far that's all come to, like, just remembering of the early days, at least for US esports stuff, of just, like being at these dirty LAN centers and watching like hard to find stuff online, down to like then it getting a little more popular, and then some bar crafts opening. And like I'll never forget my first bar craft I went to in New York City, where it was great that they were doing it, but it was definitely a sports bar. And so like it's a bunch of just nerds like piling into the sports bar that we've never been to before. And then the sports bar regulars kind of being like, what's happening? And there's video games on the screen, and there's just like nerd kids all over, like freaking out. And now to the point, yeah, where you have like suits and ties and television, and yeah, it's crazy to just see that happening globally.
It's a gorgeous stage. Like,
yeah.
Talk about, I mean, Nolan mentioned in that quote I read of Nolan, like high level, professional looking. Like they came out the bat with. I remember when Heroes Esports started. Like they definitely came out the bat wanting to change, or step up this esport, into this level. And it's been really fun for me to watch the Gillyweed in all of this, just because I started working with her at Misclicks with Storm Show. And just to see her doing all of this now is like incredible.
Yeah, I also one of my favorite things is just that they have a lot of the toys behind them.
Yeah, yeah, that's true.
I'm a big enemy of having things. I've moved many times in life, but on my desk I have like all my StarCraft BlizzCon toys. Like, it's like the only things I keep, like all my Zerg stuff.
There's a lot of that.
And, so it's fun to see all their versions of these things.
Yeah. Oh, I think I've played this. This is Tuba the Spider Queen.
This map.
I think I've played this. This one always makes me think of a shout out to Laura Lania.
So I think. Oh yeah, go ahead.
But go ahead.
Oh, I was gonna say. So is it similar? Do we know? Does anyone know if it's similar to League of Legends, where you get to ban people in the picks and all that kind of stuff in this, or is there any?
I think. Do
we know?
Based on what
Like they ban heroes.
Yeah, they're definitely doing pick ban now.
Okay, cool.
And I'm not super familiar with this particular game, but I do watch MOBA esports occasionally.
Yeah, I feel like the only time I find out is if Nolan tweets something about it, because I just see it in his Twitter, and I'm like, oh, that's awesome. I found it. True. That's true. That's really true with Hearthstone, because that was probably one of, as like working in marketing and then playing Blizzard games, and I'm like, you guys are geniuses, because I'm sitting here going, I want that card back so bad. I had collected all of them. I have to get to what level in Heroes? Oh my gosh. Okay, fine. And it's like, that's ridiculous, but amazing and smart, and I like it. That's a really good point. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah. I would say that's the one thing that sorry, Nadja, that I do like about what they're taking from sports is you do see that a lot in sports. You see most of the of players when they're done or coaches when they're done will come back and commentate, and I think it creates this kind of family sense within the sport because it always makes me really happy when I'm watching like a basketball game and I'm like, oh, that was my favorite player, and now I get to see them talking all the time, or whatever. What were you saying, Nadja? I'm sorry, I want to hear your point. Yeah. Oh, hold on. I have. Oh, there we go. I wonder how long you've been muted. I'm sorry. Somehow I accidentally muted you guys.
Uh-oh.
But I don't think it was for very long. I think it's because I clicked on a different screen.
Okay.
Oh, it was worse, not better. I can't hear them. Oops. When I made the adjustment, I'd muted you. I'm sorry. Well.
I just.
Wow.
Are we back now?
Hello, testing audio.
Yeah, you are,
Hello?
because I can see it.
Hello? Are we live?
I'm gonna wait till.
Well,
yes, everyone can hear us.
okay, great. Yeah,
give
I
your.
like.
You have 5 more minutes. We have 5 minutes, so if you too can redo that wonderful insight that you just gave us, because it was awesome, and I don't know what we missed.
Yes.
So.
Yes. Ahem. Jumping from Blizzard to Blizzard game is very similar to jumping from system to system in the tabletop community, and you're able to do so easily through Roll20. That was my insight.
Yeah, and I totally agree with that too, and also just in that same way where Stephanie, even you were talking about before of Diablo, of I can do this alone, and that is in the game world just like a lower barrier to entry, whereas in tabletop gaming, like when I confront a new player that might be interested and might want to play in my live group, I'll start off with like a game of Fiasco and be like, oh, this is such a easy entry, and then by the time they do that once, like the next time they come, it's like, oh, how about this game, and you keep amping it up to like a point where they're playing things that they would have never that they would have thought were just too complex.
Yeah.
And they don't realize it at that point that it's just not complex at all because you've guided them down this road of gaming awakening.
I'm doing my best to turn up Nadja, but I can't. Nadja might be able to turn herself up. I turned her up all the way I could, but the problem is Dean and I are louder, and they're all coming out of one source. Speaking of Fiasco, Azekos is in our chat, and he played Fiasco in Portuguese last year for us at like 2 o'clock in the morning.
Okay.
And he'll be coming up next doing 5th edition with Koibu and Tanya of Binding Diverse Games and Nolan, our co-founder.
Mm-hmm.
So that is very exciting. We
Yeah,
have... Oh, I'm going to... No, you're good. We only have a couple minutes, so last minute thoughts on esports and tabletop.
All I was going to say just before was I had no clue that Night Witches was also a bully pulpit game, and that was cool to watch. Before.
Yes, Night Witches was awesome. If you did not see the previous one, although I think you all have stick around, but if you're here for the new show and you missed the last one, we'll be putting it up on YouTube very shortly. If you are hosting us right now and you are wanting to host again for the next show, do make sure to rehost because we're going to take the stream down in a second to put it back up with your next show. But Nadja, you want to tell us what is coming up in the next two? We're almost done.
And also definitely let me know if it's better. Click some things. But next we have 5E D&D with Neil Erickson himself, aka Koibu. He's playing with, is it Azeko?
Azekos is what I always say, but I have no idea. I think that's how I've heard him pronounce it.
And then we have Tanya, aka Cypher of Tier.
Thank you.
And Nolan, one of the co-founders himself.
And excited about esports. So if this team is winning, I think that is going to be Nolan is going to be hyped when he starts playing. So as they're winning, Nolan is going to be hyped. So shout out to Roll20 Esports. Thank you all for watching our little highlight of this. We appreciate you taking a break to check them out. And if you want to give them a follow, they're over on Twitter at Roll20 Esports. And they're streaming now, so enjoy that. And we're going to hit the road to let the other team get up and get you waiting to watch more 5th edition.
So, thank you.
Thank you, everybody.
Bye.
See you soon.
See you.